the team that we had of great fellows, not just me leading them, it was the ability of the players that were around me that used to pull together, and we just had a very happy time together. And rather than me doing anything special apart from just doing my job on the field, I thought that our team, and we're still very great mates.
The game is all over, and South Sydney has won the 1967 Rugby League Premiership. And the Rabbitohs have done it again. South Sydney 13 has defeated Manly Warringah 9.
But the final hooter brings an end to their hopes, and Balmain its first premiership in 22 years. Souths win 23-12 to take their 19th premiership.
I always looked at him, yes, as a son, but also looked at him as a fan. I just admired him so much as a guy and the way that he treated people.
He drove you all the way. He was an inspiration to everyone he played with, and he was just a winner, and he just wanted to win so hard.
He was someone that just ran down and took it off him and done his best.
Dummying, Sattler sends Scoop through a narrow gap, and he's over.
I remember John Sattler as a great man, a really tough rugby league player and a great leader. He'd take no prisoners, I say that.
Myself personally, obviously being in the same position, wearing the number 13 jumper, being handed the captaincy at the same age that Johnny Sattler got handed the captaincy as well at 24 years old. So yeah, I obviously feel like I've got a little bit to live up to there. And
everyone loved him. You know, even if you see players from the opposition after a game, everyone just respected who he was, and you know, he's just a great player.
You know, it was a great win. The boys all played so well, and they were never going to be beaten tonight. But the big fellow here, he's just absolutely blown them out of the water. He doesn't look real.
I felt his loss. There's a lot to take in. Initially, for me, it was more of a nice time to reflect on Sats and who he was as a person, but what he stood for as a player and what that meant, not only in my time in the jersey, but for the generation before me and the one before that, and then obviously Sats' generation. I get goosebumps thinking about it now, that the commitment that he instilled in the jersey and the passion and the pride. So I reflected on all those great attributes and great characteristics that lived through Sats.
We do draw a lot of inspiration from John, and you know, especially the team that he played with back then.
So I like to think of the celebration rather than the sadness.
If you get right into it, right from the kick-off, put the pressure on them early, there's no reason why we can't win this game.
I mean, you can imagine the coach of the other side, who was Ron Willie, and he was a sort of firebrand coach, and he'd have been staring their props up before the grand final saying, don't let them control the game, otherwise we'll lose the grand final. So they would have been all pumped up and running onto the field, and I think it just happened early on. I was playing on the same side of the ruck as Sats, and we moved up, and Freddie Jones sort of dummied to Bucknell and then turned the ball back the other way. Well, me and Sats sort of moved up and sort of confronted him, and Sats mostly thought, well, I'm up here, I might as well give this bloke a bit of a clip. So he's given him a bit of a slap over the ear and turned around to run back to the position, unbeknownst that Bucknell's after him, and Bucknell was about 6'3" or 4 or 5, a big, tall, lanky bloke, and he's come down on Sats and...
John Sattler has a severely lacerated mouth, which requires 8 stitches and a triple fracture of the jaw.
Well, I think he just personifies what the club stands for in so many ways. Yeah, we talk about being tough and resilient on the field, and he ticked every box there. Maybe the toughest player ever to play the game.
We are a competitive club. We want to win games, we want to win on the field, and we want to win off it. And it's the drive of guys like John, who did that back in the day, and it lives and breathes through everything that we do now.
2014, I just thought if you could write that script.
One of the most awaited grand finals of all time. Burgess, and taken by Graham. And Burgess has come away pointing at his cheekbone, I think. Something's happened with Sam Burgess.
It's a cheekbone, Rabs.
One of the trainers actually ran on to me and said, think John Sattler, think of John Sattler. I would say he helped me get through that game.
The tears on the face of Sam Burgess, tears of joy from grown heroes.
Sats was one of the first guys ever to wear a coat and tie in our era to every game. That was whether you're playing at the cricket ground or you're playing out Woodwood. Once he got in that dressing room, he just changed. It was like that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like once that tie and coat come off, you know, the nails started growing longer and the teeth started protruding out, and he was just wild, you know, and he thought, oh, geez, I'm glad I'm on your side today, you know. And then when the game was over, the suit went back on again, and he'd go and mix and mingle with these old ladies talking about cats and dogs.
He plays to win, and everybody knows that, and I think that energy and that soul echoes through Redfern and throughout our playing group.
A lot of fathers are heroes. He was my hero, and he'll be sorely missed, but the way that I remember him is just a tear of strength that I know that if ever I called him, doesn't matter what part of the world I was in, he would have done everything possible to be there for me.
And now that we're all round the bar and the captain's declared it a quorum, we're drinking our way through the night and we're having the time of our lives. Throw the empties away, start again, for the boys of South Sydney are together.